Welcome to the fun side of hell. I'm your host Lucifer, and today we are coming back to Sounds of Her Love. Now, in the previous episode, our girl Carrie never turned up to school. We were very curious on why, so we decided to give her a call. Her dad answered the phone, and we found out that Carrie may actually be returning to Wales after her mother's filed for custody. We have gone to Carrie's house to find out the full details, and decided that we are going to wait for Carrie to turn up to school tomorrow. So, let's get in and see if she shows up, shall we? See if I can remember which one it is. This one. There you go. The morning sunlight blinds my eyes on my walk towards school. More importantly, towards my typical rendezvous point with Carrie. As I get closer and closer, I dote upon what Carrie means to me. My relationship with her. It's a strange thing to think about, but as time goes on, things will start to make more sense to me. As the usual corner of the street enters my vision, the shy, braided girl isn't there. It would be wrong to say I didn't expect this, but part of me looked forward to seeing her adorable aura shimmer in the sunlight. Looking at my watch, it's still a bit early. Even if it was late, I would still wait for her. Being late to school doesn't concern me now. Cars pass me, but sorry, let me try this again. Cars pass by me one after another as the neighborhood starts to get into motion. Everyone on their way to work, or to drop their kids off at school. It's the usual sort of thing for a weekday. Having mine be different yesterday really showed me how much I enjoyed the mornings before going to school to be able to see her. Every day of my life before had been absent of her, but meeting her really showed me how much of a wonderful person she really is. It's a shame it took a while for her to be able to show it to someone. The clock continues to circle around and around my watch, similar to the thoughts in my mind, constantly moving but never really going anywhere. 7:35 soon passes without any sign of Carrie. When agreeing to meet with her, I would have probably embraced the experience of walking down the road around this time to see her waiting for me with a mild smile on her face. One which I can only assume would quickly turn into a fluster as she would spot me approaching. None of that has happened, though. Or will happen. I can't imagine Carrie being that happy to see me. You know, in the last episode we had some downs, and I hope she does show up, because this downward spiral we're having is not good. Anxiety grows within me, flowering from one of the most painful places for it to be embedded its thorns, my heart. It's been 5 minutes now since the usual time we agreed to meet. Not particularly late by any standard, that is. That is, any standard other than Carrie's. Every time we agreed to meet somewhere, despite it only happening on a few occasions, Carrie was always early or on time. More so the prior. Maybe my words didn't reach her after all. Glancing up from my watch one last time, within my vision I see a figure. Despite the morning sunlight hindering my view, it's clear to see that a girl is walking down the street towards me. Oh, is it our girl, Carrie? Please tell me it's Carrie. As she approaches, I can make out her hair, neatly braided, swaying in a light autumn breeze. Her attire, all too familiar to me, consists of a tan sweater which embellishes her figure. Ah, it's our girl, Carrie. I'm glad she showed up. The harp insignia on her chest is quickly covered by her arms as she adjusts the red ribbon beneath her neck, blushing slightly as she looks towards me. It's Carrie. Oh, I'm so happy Carrie turned up. There she is, our beautiful girl. The sight brings a smile to my face. It usually would, but this time means a lot more to me than any of those ever could. Every time I record this, I end up yawning, and I don't know why. Sorry. I managed to reach out to her. She came. Really? Is that just me who was thinking dirty things? Probably. Her expression, however, does not match mine. She still carries a troubled expression as she advances thirder down the street. I don't know why I fucked that word up. If one thing is for sure, there's still a lot of work to do before we can make things right. If that's even the right word. All the issues, all the problems that caused this situation are still here. Carrie is still upset.
Good morning.
It sure is because you're here, Carrie. Good morning, Carrie. Part of me wants to ask how she's feeling. In spite of knowing the answer, I'm fine, she'll say. That's all it is. Fine. Which is an anagram for fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional, apparently. Fine is just a synonym for not good. A quick answer to get people off your case. Carrie knows how concerned I am, but prying into her feelings now would not benefit either of us. That is true. Today I want her to feel normal, to experience a day of school like we usually would. Upsetting her by getting into the subject of her parents would make my efforts all for naught. Instead, I opt to just usher her along with me to begin our day of school. I think we should get going. We're going to be late otherwise. And I don't want to be late.
Okay.
I nearly spoke over her. I expected her to apologize for being late, but it doesn't really matter to me. Carrie and I begin our slow walk to school despite having the clock working against us. But we're not in any rush. Dust shimmers in the air sporadically throughout the classroom. I can say sporadically, but I couldn't say further. Jesus, what is wrong with me tonight? Where are we? Oh yeah, throughout the classroom, giving the day a sense of warmth as the autumn sunlight shines through the windows. All too much of a contrast with the bitter cold of the morning, leaving me with a feeling of unease as the issues we carry still linger around my mind. I'm going to read that again because I don't know whether you can make that out from the yawn. I apologize. Leaving me with a feeling of unease as the issues we carry still linger around my mind. Having left her not too long ago to get to class, we separated on a sour note. Neither of us really saying anything, but our feelings ever so similar. Of wanting to go home. Ones of sadness, sorrow, and general awkwardness. Getting her to come to school was one thing, but for her to open up to me again will be a completely different challenge. I doubt that. If I am going to make this day work, one way or another, I'll have to force her to talk to me. Sorry. If I'm going to make this day work, one way or another, I'll have to force her to talk to me, no matter how inconsiderate that sounds. Moving my body backwards, I stretch to alleviate the pain in my shoulders. The day is going to be long, but I've gotten through lessons before just thinking about Carrie. Thing is, there's a lot more to think about now, including my feelings. The chimes of the school bell jolt me up from the slumped position of my chair. It's lunchtime, so getting outside as soon as possible is a priority. I want to meet Carrie outside her class for once. Springing up, I grab my bag and swiftly push my items into it, in a disordered manner. These are things I have no time to be concerned about. I never was, I just shoved them in my bag and left. I managed to be one of the first people out of the class, I usually was, but it's expected that those who sit near the front will always have the upper hand. Carrie's class isn't much of a distance away. It seems that their class is still inside. Everyone in our year group is on the same corridor. Sorry for the yawn again. Where was I? Oh yeah. Everyone in our year group is on the same corridor, so it's unsurprising to find myself joining the usual crowds, who wait outside the other classes for their friends to come out. One by one, people flock out of the classroom, like birds. The entire event is quite a scene, as it's already been about 5 minutes since the lunch bell rang. Just how important was their lesson? Hey, it's our beautiful girl, Carrie. In time, the sight of Carrie greets my eyes once again. She still holds the same expressionless appearance she's had since this morning. It hurts to see. Hey, Carrie. Should we go have lunch together?
sorry. I need to catch up with some work.
But food.
I'm going to copy a friend.
But food! As soon as I opened my mouth, Carrie seemed to go into a state of shock. Her words sound untruthful, as if she forced out the first excuse she could think of. As depressing as it is, the reality is that I'm the only person she speaks to in this school. She wouldn't have the audacity to copy of someone within her class. If she's not ready to speak, that's fine. The entire action itself going back on what I previously decided upon earlier. Forcing her to speak to me would probably send her into another state of shock. I'll let her go, for now. Alright, Carrie. I turn around, leaving Carrie behind me as I join the students from her class heading towards the cafeteria. Whether Carrie wanted me to object or not, I'm unsure. However, she won't be able to get away from me this easily. Letting our friendship dissipate like this isn't something I want to allow. Even if I have to go to Wales and kick her mother's ass. I found myself sitting in the cafeteria, clutching a sandwich in my hand. A little earlier, the guy sitting in front of me got into a fight with one of the younger students over who'd get the last beef sandwich. I'm not really sure why these things are so popular. It's meat, it's beef, it's a frickin' sandwich. You're enjoying that sandwich? You better be. I was wounded pretty bad back there. He didn't even touch you. Can't you just let me pretend for a minute? School is pretty boring, man. I don't know why I'm doing this accent, but it's cool. To be honest, he is right. Having to sit here without Carrie is quite agonizing. A distressful experience, putting my entire state of mind into a flurry. Even though yesterday I sat alone in class, being here with this guy isn't much better at all. Are you listening, mate? Sorry, can you repeat yourself? I was saying that if they introduce lamb into the school sandwiches, there's plenty of sheep in Wales, aren't there? Yes, there is. I have a friend who lives in Wales. I've been visiting them quite a while, but there are sheep in Wales. Even before I knew my friend in Wales, I've been to Wales anyway on holiday with family, and there is quite a lot of sheep. I wouldn't know. I've never been. I have. I'm not even Welsh. I'm not. Neither am I, man. It's just a thought, you know. It seems this guy's pretty invested in sandwiches. What a twat. The bell rings to signal the end of lunch, causing me to feel more depressed as I now have to face afternoon lessons. Oh, now, sorry. Whilst listening to the mundane talk of my classmate, I decided to try a game with Carrie. Sorry for the yawn. The idea is to walk her home, pretty bold in itself, but I know for a fact she's not going to be compliant. Dragging her out by hand is one option, although the action seems really dodgy and disrespectful to her. In a way, it might show her how much effort I'll put into being there to support her. What could go wrong? Well, she could slap you. For one thing, so I'm going to save just in case we get slapped. Return. Yeah, you could get slapped. The classroom is filled with a uniform aura of apathy. I don't know what that means, sorry. Apathy, as it slowly drags on towards the final few minutes. Thinking back on my idea from earlier, I need to find a way to be able to get out before Carrie. Just get yourself sent out. That's what I used to do. Sorry for the yawn. I can't be guaranteed that our class will get out late again, so I really don't want to miss her. Raising my hand, I eagerly wait for the teacher to notice. Asking to be excused for the restroom is undoubtedly the best way to be the first one out of the class. There's about 5 minutes until lesson ends, so there shouldn't really be a problem. Yes, Lucifer. It's a fucking nerd. It's a girl. It's a freaking girl. Oh shit. I'll change your voice then. Excuse me, miss. May I be excused for a restroom break? Go ahead, Lucifer. It seems the teacher herself is quite apathetic towards her own lesson, sending me off in a tired and indifferent manner. Go on, you little bastard, just fuck off. I leave the classroom behind me, some classmates looking shocked after realizing my plan to get out of the class before them. Turning down the corridor, I walk slowly towards Carrie's classroom. This time, she's not getting away so easily. That sounds creepy. Somebody get the chloroform. The bell rings to officially end everyone's school day. I've been waiting here for a few minutes, so in order to use up some time, I bought myself a drink. As people begin to walk down the corridor, I toss my can in the bin and continue to wait for Carrie's class to come through the doors. Hey, it's my wife. Not wife, beautiful baby girl. Not wife, that's Fang. Surprisingly, this time Carrie is one of the first people to get out of her class. Perhaps she wanted to prevent a repetition of the events of lunch, getting out early so she could avoid me. Unfortunately for her, though, as soon as the change arises, I grab her by the hand and make my way down the corridor with her at a pace. Her trailing behind me with an extraordinary sense of embarrassment, ones which break new boundaries. That's one reaction. I would have punched him.
What are you doing?
At some point... No, I'm not making that joke. I'm walking you home.
What?
Confused, Carrie continues to stumble over her words as I take her with me down the corridor. Despite her being able to let go of my hand, she shows no restraint as she allows herself to be taken with me. As we move, I notice a few stares and smiles from various people from our year group. Even sounds of light-hearted laughter can be heard. Different to how Carrie was treated before, I can only assume that they find the events funny in a friendly manner.
Where are we going?
Home! I just told you that. Jeez, she doesn't listen very well. Your house, I told you. I'm walking you home, didn't I? Yeah. Saying that, both of us are almost running as we pace towards the school's exit. Not a speed definable as walking, but I'm still taking her back to her house. Students move swiftly out of our way as we get outside and through the school gates onto the road, with the pair of us receiving the same odd looks and giggles as we finally break from the school ground. I let up my grip of Gary's hand since the entire action still is embarrassing. More so the fact that running out of the school had caused us both to sweat slightly. Disgusting. I can trust Carrie not to run off now, so we both slow down and into a brisk walk as I take her on the journey back to her house. So, did you manage to catch up with your work?
What are you talking about?
You don't even remember your own excuse. What is wrong with this girl? I love you, Carrie, but sometimes you can be a bit dense.
Oh, that was... I...
Was lying? Is gonna have a drink? I am. I don't know about Carrie. Let's see. Guess not. Oh well. A flustered Carrie walks behind me as she tries her best to let out her words. The sight causes me to laugh. Haha! Knowing that I've seen through her lie. It's this sort of experience that I had longed for. You're pretty cute. Saying that, Carrie ramps up her levels of befuddlement, causing me to lose myself in her adorable trance. I only told her the truth. Devils never lie. What can I say?
What? You really think so?
Honestly, I just want to stop here for a moment, and fix my seating posture because my leg was hurting. Whenever I play games like this, similar to this, with this kind of voice acting where they're all embarrassed and everything, I don't know why. And let me know in the comments if I'm the only one doing this. I don't know why, but I always seem to have a picture of the voice actress or actor, mainly actresses, just, fiddling with their hair while they're reading the line. Almost like they're trying to get into that character so much that they start to feel embarrassed themselves just reading the line. I don't know why I feel that way, but I just do. Let me know in the comments if you guys have the same similar kind of mindset as me. I doubt it, but you never know. Let me know in the comments. Really? Her face is ablaze with emotion as she looks towards me with her hard blush, fiddling with her hair as it entwines around her fingers.
Thank you.
You're welcome. She meekly claps at her right arm as we continue walking down the road in a state close to silence, neither us deciding to continue conversation. The real fact is that Carrie still isn't feeling good inside. Trying to force her into a state of happiness would just make things worse. I'm fine with being able to come this far with her. Walking down a street lit up by the afternoon sun. This is something I've always wanted to do with Carrie, and now we are. Being there for her, being with her, it brings my feelings for her into question. Are we friend or are we foe? Our steps are in sync as the two of us walk side by side down a street which is now quite familiar to me. Accompanying Carrie on the way home may have seemed like a brash thing to do, the idea itself established rather hastily. However, being here with her after spending yesterday in a state of worry gives me a sense of relief. The issues that caused this are still present, however, but showing Carrie that she doesn't have to go through it alone is enough of a reason for my actions. We find ourselves idling in front of her house, neither of us really wanting to start the traditional words of farewell. Carrie takes the lead despite being rather reserved throughout the day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry about earlier.
It's okay. I really hope that the voice acting is coming through, by the way.
I just needed some time alone to think.
That's okay. We all get like that. I get like that sometimes. Then again, I live alone, so I've always got time to think. Trust me, it ain't nice.
It's been hard recently.
Oh, sweetheart, I know the feelings. I do. It's alright, Carrie. Carrie is still bearing the weight of uncertainty as she faces the chance of having to leave everything and everyone she's known behind to move away. And from what her father had told me, the distance between her and what she cherishes would be quite extraordinary. Remember, Carrie, you have people who are there for you. Just like everybody who's watching this video, I'm here for you. Hi! I love you all. You're amazing people. Even if it's the two people she's likely to be leaving behind.
I know. You've been a great friend to me.
Did we just get friend-zoned? I think we did.
That's why it's hard.
I'm not going there. With Carrie saying that, the door to her house opens wide, despite neither of us reaching out for the handle. Standing before us is Carrie's father, sporting a smile, which I can only describe as uneasy. Both of us know the situation Carrie is in, and both of us are trying our hardest to deal with it. I thought I heard someone speaking outside. Come on in, Lucifer. You're more than welcome to stay for dinner. What's wrong, Carrie? What's wrong? Mr. Earwood wastes no time trying to get me inside of his house. All I can assume is that he has something he wants to discuss with me. I can do more than guess what it is. He wants to talk about the startled response coming straight from her. Yeah, we'll go for a bit longer. Carrie, still somehow shocked at her father's invitation, idles behind me as I step forward into her house. Are you coming inside, Carrie?
Yes?
Of course you are. It's your friggin' house. It's strange that a man has to ask his own daughter if she's going to enter their own house. But it's not something I wouldn't expect happening with Carrie. Her actions are quite adorable. Yes, they are. Dispelling that train of thought, I divert my attention back to reality, knowing that there's still a large uncertainty that hangs over us. As Mr. Airwood and I walk further through the hall, Carrie stands behind and speaks out to us.
I need to put some things away upstairs.
Her toy collection. Her books. I always meant books. I said books. Can't prove otherwise.
I'll come back down in a minute.
Rushing off quickly up the stairs, Carrie leaves her father and I alone in the hallway. Well, the two of us can still go through to the dining room. You want a beer? I know you're below the Japanese drinking age, but the laws are different in my house. Because I have seceded this house from Japan, and we live by my rules. Yeah, sure. Why not? Willingly accepting his offer, the two of us walk into the dining room, both of us knowing what's on the other's mind. Why did you offer a child a beer, and why did he accept? Sitting down, both of us are reluctant to start the conversation. Carrie could come down at any minute. It wouldn't be pretty for her to hear us talking about her behind her back. So why not just say it in front of her fucking face? Just saying. Still, the thought is something I'll have to neglect. Avoiding this conversation isn't what I'd want to do. So, is she being any better? She's still pretty upset. His voice has a certain firmness that seems unfitting for this discussion, as if the fact that Carrie's in emotional distress doesn't concern him. I think she likes you, you know. The thought of having to leave you doesn't sit well with her. What? What? God damn it, we turned into stone cold. We're drinking beer, we're saying what? What's next? Are we gonna stone cold stun her at Dad? Repeating my thoughts aloud, I stare blankly at Mr. Airwood, who sits in front of me with a smile. Did he just suggest Carrie likes me? In what way is he suggesting? Well, given the conversation from outside, I'm guessing he's just admitted that his daughter friend-zoned you. I mean that she's upset that she'd have to leave you. No, the part before that. That? Oh, I'm just suggesting that Carrie has a crush on you. But if you hurt my daughter, I promise, the next meal we have will be you. You know, there's times in a girl's life where they find someone they like, pull out a knife and slit their throat. No, wait, that's you know. Sorry. That's the way it is for everyone. It's even worse for yanderes. Is this guy really telling me that his daughter fancies me? Hearing it is quite a shock, especially from him, her own father. Thoughts rush through my head as I think over my relationship with Carrie. Carrie's actions towards me have never been quite confident. She's always seemed embarrassed or shy. Pardon me. But that's just how I thought she normally was. To think that she likes me. It's a strange thought. Yet inside I can't deny the feeling of happiness, the feeling of wanting to be with her. You're a good kid. I've always thought that good kids deserve good news. Diverting my attention back to Mr. Irwood, he continues talking with a smile on his face. I've had some talks with my solicitor. Legal stuff, right? He told me that I'm likely to win custody of Carrie. My wife isn't known to have the best mental health record. Okay, now we're getting into mental health issues. So don't feel too down, kid. Carrie's going to stay? A wave of relief washes over me, knowing that Carrie doesn't have to face her burdens. It's a pleasing thought. Even more so that I know how Carrie feels about me. I can't even describe what either of us would be feeling if we were separated. Have you told her yet? Not yet. I wanted to wait until the time was right. What does he mean? I think that telling her would be one of the first things he'd do. Maybe, and this is just a thought by me, maybe the time isn't right. And maybe the time will only be right when he knows for definite if he will win the case. For days, Carrie has been awash with agony, finding herself disillusioned in reality as she faces here having her life torn apart by an uncomfortable force. Uncontrollable force. It's odd. Can I ask you for a favor? What? I ain't checking your ass out, Dad. Take my daughter out on a date. I don't know how to respond to that. What? Well, there you go. Stone cold again. What? It seems as if, what? Is the only thing I can get out around this guy. To be so full of surprises. What's even more surprising is that Carrie's still taking her time with putting her stuff away. Me and her father have been talking about her for quite a while. So long that the clock doesn't have hands. Good God. Her father has just asked me to go on a date with her. Yet she's conveniently upstairs, completely unaware of what's going on. How do we know? For all we know, Carrie could be hiding in the cupboard. She could be hiding behind the door. Maybe she's hiding in the fridge. Or maybe I'm just insane. Why are you so adamant about me and Carrie? I reveal my thoughts to him. In no way do I not want to go out with Carrie. It's just strange that her father is pushing us together. First he tells me she likes me, and now he's trying to get me to take her out. Aren't fathers supposed to be reluctant to let a guy date their daughter? I don't know. I'm not a father. Especially when they've only known each other for less than 2 weeks. I keep forgetting this game has only been going for 2 weeks. It's just... Carrie's never had many friends. To know that she's managed to make one which she even likes. I don't want her to miss the opportunity. And hey, you're not a bad kid. I have no objections to you dating her, even though you're not of legal age and you accepted beer. Hearing these words, they're strange. Thoughts which were never foreign, but a reality which certainly is new to me. I myself can't deny the feelings I've held for Carrie, even if they were abstract for most of the time. Now presented with this, I'm assured of what those feelings were. Love. The sound of footsteps resonate from the hallway, giving me and Mr. Earwood a clean sign to change the direction of our conversation. So, did you catch the game last night? Bikes, motorbikes, pool, football, beer. So, Lucifer, how's school? Sure, that's what we want to talk about. Oh, it's been great.
I'm back.
Welcome back, sweetheart. Oh, Gary, sit down. I'll get dinner prepared for us. Walking out of the room, Mr. Earwood leaves me with Carrie, the girl which drew out my inner feelings. Seeing her now sitting before me with a slight frown as she looks downwards at the table, fiddling with her braids, it makes my heart race. And you know what? After this revelation, I don't think my heart can take any more, and I don't think we should drag it on anymore. So I'm going to leave this episode here. We've finally got somewhere with Carrie. Not a lot, but at least we know she fancies us. That's the main thing. So, as I said earlier on about the whole feelings I have when visualization in my head of when a character is nervous and the voice actor playing with their hair, or getting so into character that they become nervous themselves. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Let me know in the comments if you guys have the same thoughts that I do when you just think about it. And by all means, if you like this episode, then by all means tell yourself that like button. I've been your host, Lucifer. This has been Sounds of Your Love, and I bid you all a fond farewell.